Sardines are one of the rare seafood options that are naturally low in mercury. It makes them one of the safest and healthiest choices for regular meals. These tiny fish carry extraordinary benefits for your heart, brain, and bones. They are packed with protein, omega-3s, calcium, and essential vitamins. But most people make at least 3 of the upcoming mistakes that strip away their nutrition, ruin their flavor, and in some cases even put their health at risk. Think about it for a second. When you buy sardines, do you know if you're picking the right kind off the shelf? Are you storing the leftovers safely or leaving them to spoil without realizing it? Do you ever rinse your sardines before eating them, thinking it makes them healthier? And most importantly, are you guilty of throwing away the source of the most nutrition? The truth is, sardines are greatly neglected not because of what's inside the can, but because of how people treat them. From storage mistakes to cooking blunders, these little fish often get ruined before they can do any good to your body. In this video, we're breaking down the big mistakes everyone makes with sardines. Some of them may seem harmless at first, but once you understand the science, you'll realize just how much they matter. By the end, you'll know how to enjoy sardines the way they're meant to be. Before we get into it, can you do us a quick favor? Like this video and subscribe to join our healthy community. Also, type yes in the comments section now so we can see how many of you are interested in this type of video. All right, let's get started. Mistake 11, overcooking them into mush. Many people don't know that canned sardines are already cooked before they even hit the shelf. That means you don't need to cook them again. But what do most people do? They toss them into hot pans, boil them, or cook them too long, turning a perfectly good fish into mush. The truth is, sardines are delicate. Their soft texture is one of the reasons they're so easy to eat, bones and all. But high heat or extended cooking breaks down their structure, leaving you with a paste-like mess. Not only does this ruin the eating experience, but it also damages heat-sensitive nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids and certain B vitamins. So what should you do instead? Think about gentle heating. If you're adding sardines to pasta, rice, or a stir-fry, wait until the very end to toss them in. Just a minute or two is enough to warm them without breaking them apart. This way, you keep the flavor, the texture, and the nutrition. For a little extra crispiness, try broiling them on a baking sheet for 2 to 3 minutes. This gives them a slightly crunchy exterior while keeping the inside moist and flavorful. Another trick is to warm the unopened can in a bowl of hot water for a few minutes. This heats the sardines evenly without exposing them to direct heat. Remember, sardines don't need cooking. They're ready to eat right out of the can. Cooking should be about enhancing them, not destroying them. Treat them gently and you'll be surprised at how much better they taste. Mistake 10, removing the bones. One of the most common mistakes people make with sardines is pulling out the tiny bones. At first glance, it seems logical. After all, with bigger fish, bones are sharp, annoying, and even dangerous. But sardines are different. Their bones are completely edible, soft, and safe. Thanks to the canning process, which pressure cooks them until they're tender enough to chew without even noticing. And here's the kicker. Those little bones are nutritional gold. They're one of the richest natural sources of calcium you'll ever find in seafood. Just one serving of sardines with bones can provide over a third of your daily calcium needs, which is vital for strong bones, healthy teeth, and muscle function. On top of that, they contain vitamin D, which helps your body actually absorb that calcium. Together, calcium and vitamin D are the ultimate duo for bone health, especially important as we age. When you remove the bones, you're not just making extra work for yourself. You're throwing away nutrients your body really needs. And let me tell you that, you don't even taste them. They're soft enough to blend seamlessly into the flesh of the fish. Most people who eat sardines regularly can't tell where the meat ends and the bones begin. Yes, no doubt some companies sell deboned sardines, but they usually cost more and often come in broken pieces because the deboning process damages the fish. It's like paying more money for less nutrition and worse presentation. The solution is simple. Embrace the bones. They're safe, nutritious, and practically invisible once you start eating. Think of them as a hidden bonus that makes sardines one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Stick around until the end of the video because I'll also reveal who should actually be careful with sardines, which is critical information that you might not want to miss. Mistake 9, choosing water-packed over oil-packed sardines. One of the biggest mistakes people make happens right in the grocery store aisle, picking sardines packed in water instead of oil. At first, water-packed might seem like the healthier choice. Yeah, fewer calories, lighter texture. But here's the truth. Water-packed sardines actually lose out on both flavor and nutrition. Here's why. Sardines are naturally rich in healthy fats, especially omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation, lower heart disease risk, and even support brain health. These fats are fat-soluble, which means your body absorbs them better when they're eaten with other fats. When sardines are packed in oil, especially good oils like extra virgin olive oil, the fish soak up added flavors, stay moist, and actually help your body get more out of the omega-3s they already contain. On the other hand, water does nothing to preserve or enhance the fish. In fact, sardines in water often taste bland, dry, or even metallic as time passes. That's because water doesn't protect the natural oils in the fish from oxidation. Over time, those oils can go rancid, leaving you with an unpleasant taste and less nutrition. Oil, by contrast, acts as a barrier that slows down this breakdown process. That's why many food lovers say sardines in olive oil actually taste better the longer they're stored. Yes, sardines in oil have more calories, but they're the right kind of calories coming from healthy fats. And the trade-off is worth it. Better taste, better texture, and better nutrient absorption. If you really want to maximize your sardine experience, skip the water-packed tins and go for ones in high-quality oil. It's one small choice that makes a huge difference. Mistake 8. Leaving opened cans too long. Almost every one of us makes this mistake without realizing it, leaving open sardines sitting in the can for too long. Yes, sardines have an impressive shelf life while sealed, but the second you pop that lid, the countdown begins. Once exposed to air, sardines start to deteriorate quickly. The delicate oils inside the fish begin to oxidize, which not only changes the flavor, but also breaks down valuable omega-3 fatty acids, the very reason most of us eat sardines in the first place. That means the longer you leave them open, the less nutrition you're getting and the worse they taste. The timing depends on how they're packed. Sardines in water lose quality the fastest, usually within 24 hours. Sardines in oil last a little longer, maybe 2 or 3 days in the fridge. If they're in tomato sauce, you might get up to 4 days before they start tasting off. But here's the rule you can't ignore. After a week, no matter the type, sardines are spoiled and unsafe to eat. Another common mistake is that people leave them in the original can, thinking they'll be fine. The problem is that once the can is open, tiny reactions between the exposed metal and the air can speed up spoilage. That's why food safety experts recommend transferring sardines to a clean glass or plastic airtight container right away. This keeps out air, slows down the breakdown of nutrients, and prevents that unpleasant metallic aftertaste. If you want them to last a little longer, you could freeze them. But freezing changes the texture, making them softer and less pleasant. So the best option is to only open what you're going to eat within a couple of days, and always transfer leftovers to a proper container. A simple habit, but one that makes sure every bite of your sardines is safe, fresh, and full of nutrition. Mistake 7. Ignoring expiration and storage rules. Not paying attention to expiration dates and storage conditions seems small, but it can actually make or break your sardine experience. People assume canned food lasts forever, but that's simply not true. When sealed and stored correctly, sardines can stay good for years. But heat, light, and humidity are the enemies of canned fish. If you leave sardines in a sunny kitchen window, near the stove, or in a damp pantry, you're speeding up the breakdown of both the can and the fish inside. Over time, the oils oxidize, flavors turn sour, and nutrients begin to degrade. Even worse, damaged cans allow bacteria to grow, making the sardines unsafe to eat. And here's something most people don't know. Not all sardines age the same. Those packed in tomato sauce or other acidic liquids tend to break down faster than ones packed in oil. That means if you're buying different varieties, you need to rotate your stock, use the acidic ones sooner, and save the oil-packed tins for longer storage. It's also crucial to actually check the can before opening. If you see bulging, rust, dents along the seams, or leaks, don't risk it and throw it away. Think of it this way. Sardines are one of the most affordable superfoods out there. Wasting them, or worse, risking your health, just because of poor storage is a mistake you don't need to make. With a little care, you'll keep every can fresh, safe, and ready to deliver the nutrition it promises. Mistake 6. Eating only straight from the can. Sardines are one of the most convenient foods on the planet. You pop open the can and they're ready to eat. Eating them plain out of the tin might be quick, but it also limits their flavor and makes it easy to get bored. Sardines are far more versatile than most people realize, and using them in different ways can completely change your eating experience. Think of sardines as a building block, not just a final product. They can be mashed into spreads with a little yogurt, avocado, or olive oil to make protein-rich dips for bread and crackers. On toast, you can add toppings like capers, onions, or sliced tomatoes for a Mediterranean-style snack that feels gourmet but takes minutes to prepare. Sardines also shine in hot dishes. Toss them into pasta sauces for a punch of flavor and omega-3s. Add them at the end of a stir-fry to keep them intact while giving the dish extra protein. Even pizza benefits from sardines. Their savory, salty flavor pairs perfectly with olives, peppers, and fresh herbs. And if you love breakfast, try folding sardines into scrambled eggs or omelets for a nutrient-packed start to the day. The benefit of mixing things up isn't just taste, it's nutrition too. Combining sardines with vegetables, grains, or healthy fats helps your body absorb their nutrients better. For example, pairing sardines with vitamin C, rich foods like tomatoes or peppers, boosts iron absorption. So while it's fine to eat them plain now and then, don't limit yourself. Sardines are like a secret ingredient that can upgrade countless dishes. A little creativity in the kitchen will make sure you never get tired of them, and you'll get more nutrition out of every can. Mistake 5. Thinking all sardines taste the same. A lot of people assume that all sardines are just same. Open any can and they'll all taste identical. But it's far from the truth. Just like wine, cheese, or coffee, sardines vary widely in flavor, texture, and quality, depending on where they come from, how they're packed, and even the season they were caught. For example, Atlantic sardines can taste different from Mediterranean or Pacific varieties because of the water temperature, diet, and environment of the fish. Cold water sardines, such as those from Norway, often have a firmer texture and a cleaner taste, while those from warmer waters may be softer and richer. Even within the same region, seasonal changes matter. Sardines caught in the spring might taste lighter, while those harvested later in the year can be fattier and more flavorful. On top of that, the packing medium, olive oil, tomato sauce, mustard, or just plain water, changes the taste dramatically. Spanish and Portuguese sardines packed in high-quality olive oil often develop deeper, more complex flavors over time. Processing methods also make a difference. Some producers lightly smoke their sardines, giving them a savory depth, while others preserve them in spiced oils or sauces. These variations mean that trying sardines from different brands and regions can be an adventure in itself. The mistake is thinking they're all the same and writing them off after one bad experience. If you didn't enjoy a certain can, it might just be that particular type. Exploring different origins and pack styles can completely change your opinion. Sardines aren't a one-size-fits-all food. Once you start experimenting, you'll realize that there's a whole world of flavors waiting inside those little tins. Mistake 4. Pairing sardines with the wrong flavors. Sardines are bold little fish. Their rich oils and strong umami taste make them powerful ingredients. But that also means they need the right partners on the plate. One of the biggest mistakes people make is combining sardines with flavors that clash instead of balance. Here's the key. Sardines need contrast. Their natural richness is best paired with bright, fresh, or acidic ingredients that cut through the oiliness. Think lemon juice, vinegar, capers, tomatoes, or pickled vegetables. These sharp flavors don't cover up the sardine taste, they sharpen it, making the whole dish more exciting and balanced. Fresh herbs like parsley, dill, or cilantro also add a burst of freshness that lightens the overall flavor. Now, what should you avoid? Heavy, creamy sauces, buttery dishes, or overly sweet pairings. Creamy flavors plus oily sardines often become too rich, overwhelming your palate. Sweet ingredients like honey or fruit glazes tend to fight against sardines' natural saltiness, creating a clash instead of harmony. The result is usually unpleasant. Let's take a simple example. Sardines on toast with lemon and fresh herbs taste clean and satisfying. But what about the sardines mixed with a heavy cheese sauce? The richness doubles up and makes it hard to enjoy. It's not that you can't experiment, but the balance has to be right. When you choose the right flavors, sardines transform from just fish in a can to a gourmet ingredient that feels fresh, vibrant, and unforgettable. Mistake 3. Rinsing away. Taste and nutrition. This might surprise you, but one of the worst things you can do with sardines is rinsing them under water before eating. A lot of people do this, thinking they'll reduce the salt, fat, or fishiness. In reality, all you're doing is washing away the flavor and throwing valuable nutrients down the drain. When sardines are canned, the oil, sauce, or brine they're packed in isn't just filler. It's part of the preservation process. Over time, the fish and the liquid exchange flavors, and important nutrients like fat-soluble vitamins and omega-3s seep into the oil or sauce. If you rinse them, you lose those nutrients along with the carefully developed taste. With oil-packed sardines, rinsing creates another problem, which is that oil and water don't mix. You end up with slippery, broken pieces of fish that look and taste worse. The same goes for sardines in tomato or mustard sauces. Rinsing strips away the tang and richness that balance the natural flavor of the fish. And let's talk about sodium. Yes, sardines can be salty, but rinsing won't fix that as much as you think. The salt is infused into the fish itself during the canning process, not just sitting on the surface. A better approach is to buy low-sodium varieties or simply adjust the salt in the rest of your meal instead of ruining the sardines. Think about it this way. When you rinse sardines, you're taking a product that took months to develop flavor and nutrition in the can, and you're undoing it in seconds. Instead, embrace the brine, oil, or sauce. It's part of what makes sardines special. Mistake 2. Avoiding sardines because of fishiness. One of the top reasons people avoid sardines is simply because they think they taste too fishy. But the truth is that sardines are fish, and they're supposed to taste like one. The problem isn't the sardines themselves, but how people prepare and pair them. Good sardines should taste clean, savory, and slightly briny, like the ocean. If yours taste overly strong or unpleasant, chances are they weren't stored well, are past their prime, or you're not balancing their natural flavors properly. The secret isn't to hide the taste, but to enhance it. Acidic ingredients are your best friend here. A squeeze of fresh lemon, a splash of vinegar, or a spoonful of tomato sauce instantly cuts through heaviness and makes the flavors brighter. Fresh herbs like parsley, cilantro, or dill work the same way. These additions don't mask the sardine flavor, but they elevate it. Another key tip is to start with quality. Sardines packed in good olive oil or tomato sauce tend to taste much cleaner and less overpowering than cheaper, poorly processed options. The better the source, the better the flavor. And here's something interesting. Our taste buds can actually adapt. If you rarely eat fish, sardines may taste strong at first. But over time, your palate adjusts, and you begin to pick up on their subtle sweetness and umami depth. So instead of writing sardines off as too fishy, try experimenting with flavor pairings. Mix them into a fresh salad, top them with a squeeze of citrus, or pair them with crunchy vegetables. You'll be surprised how quickly that so-called fishiness turns into something you crave. Mistake 1. Throwing away the precious oil. This is hands down the most costly mistake people make with sardines. Draining the oil and pouring it down the sink. That golden liquid isn't waste. It's where some of the best flavor and nutrition live. Here's the science. When sardines are packed in oil, a slow exchange happens inside the can. The fish release some of their natural juices into the oil, while at the same time, the oil infuses back into the fish. Over months of storage, the oil becomes rich with omega-3 fatty acids, fat-soluble vitamins like D and E, and concentrated umami flavor. In other words, it's liquid nutrition. When you throw it away, you're not just losing calories, you're wasting the very nutrients that protect your heart, brain, and immune system. And from a culinary perspective, you're discarding a free flavor enhancer that chefs would love to have in their kitchens. So what should you do with it? There are plenty of options. Drizzle it over salads instead of bottled dressing. Use it to sauté onions and garlic before adding pasta or rice. Stir it into soups or stews for a richer base. You can even dip fresh bread into it with a squeeze of lemon and a sprinkle of herbs for a quick appetizer. The possibilities are endless. And here's a bonus. As the oil oxidizes slightly after opening, the flavor actually deepens. Stored properly in the fridge for a few days, it can add even more complexity to your meals. Sardine oil is too valuable to waste. It's packed with nutrition, layered with flavor, and free with every can you buy. Stop pouring it down the drain. Start using it like the secret ingredient that it really is. Who should be careful while eating sardines? Sardines are one of the healthiest foods you can eat, but like any powerful food, they're not for everyone. There are a few groups of people who should be extra cautious before making sardines a regular part of their diet. First, people with high blood pressure or salt sensitivity need to be careful. Most canned sardines are packed in brine, oil, or sauces that contain a good amount of sodium. Too much salt can raise blood pressure and put strain on the heart. If this is you, look for low-sodium varieties. A better option is to pair sardines with fresh vegetables and low-salt sides to balance your meal. Second, anyone who suffers from gout or high uric acid levels should be cautious. Sardines are high in purines, compounds that the body breaks down into uric acid. In sensitive people, too much uric acid can lead to painful gout flare-ups. That doesn't mean you can never eat sardines. It just means moderation is key. Third, if you're prone to kidney stones, especially uric acid stones, the purines in sardines may increase your risk. Again, it's not an automatic ban, but it's worth discussing with your doctor before eating sardines often. Finally, let's talk about pregnant women. The good news is that sardines are very low in mercury compared to larger fish like tuna or swordfish, which makes them one of the safest seafood choices. But because they're often canned in oil or brine, it's still smart to watch the sodium and calorie content if eaten frequently. For most healthy people, sardines are a fantastic food to include regularly. But if you fall into one of these groups, it's best to enjoy them in moderation and balance them with other protein sources. To sum it all up, sardines are one of the most underrated superfoods out there, but only if you handle them the right way. From choosing the right can to how you store, pair, and prepare them, small mistakes can make the difference between a bland, wasted meal and a powerful boost of nutrition. Don't let these simple errors stop you from enjoying everything sardines have to offer. Packed with protein, omega-3s, calcium, and vitamins, they can support your heart, brain, and bones, while being one of the most affordable foods you can buy. Now you know how to unlock their full potential and avoid the pitfalls that trip up most people. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future tips on eating smarter and healthier. Do you eat sardines regularly, or do you have a favorite way to prepare them? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching and being part of our community. And if you want to keep learning, we've got 2 more videos picked out just for you. Click on one of them and we'll see you there.